Yo, what up, dogs? I am back from the dead. The arena cold turned into the arena sickness, and it floored me for a few days now. And I'm back. I'm feeling better. My throat is sore. I have some color back in my face, and there's less boogers in my beard. I think. I hope. Jeez, whatever. I'm sick, but I'm recovering. So bear with me. This review might be a little shorter, but I am back, and I'll be catching up on a lot of movies that I saw when I wasn't sick. And so let's just go forward. I'm back. Thanks for waiting and being patient. Here we go. The review for Thanksgiving. I went and saw Thanksgiving a week after release, and I saw it in Brantford with my friend. And we went on a Tuesday, cheap night, got some concessions, 7 o'clock showing, regular definition viewing screens. You know, there's about 30 people in the crowd. And honestly, throughout the whole movie, I enjoyed every minute of it. It was an enjoyable film. I liked it a lot. And my friend also enjoyed it as well. And when we left the theater, you know what? We sat around for a bit outside. It was raining, but we just sat there and chatted about the film for a while. And that was nice. You know, I haven't talked about a movie after a movie in a long time because I don't usually go into movies with friends. But we had a good time and it was fun. And there was things that we liked, things we didn't like, things that we wished there was more of. It was just a good conversation about a very good movie. And I have to say, later in that week, I went to a wedding, and I saw my friend there and his wife, and they also saw Thanksgiving. So after the wedding, when we were at the party, we were eating food together and talking about Thanksgiving, and just, again, what we liked, what we didn't like. And the general consensus of what we all liked was, one, the whodunit aspect was entertaining, but we really, really, really enjoyed the gore. And that is what I got to say is awesome about this film. Is the level of gore is very impressive, and it's really well done. It's not a certain level of gore where it'll make you sick. Maybe it will if you're not into that type of horror, but I thought it was very tasteful, and I didn't think it was over the top like Eli normally would do. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you watched his Hostel movies, that's over the top gore in my opinion. And if you're not into that, I'll be honest, I don't think this movie is as gory as one of those films, okay? So you should be able to handle this one as it is a rated R film, and it runs for an hour and 46 minutes, and I think the pacing was pretty good, but I do think we could get this movie down to an hour and 30, because in particular, there is a scene in this movie that I don't think actually correlates well with the character that is presented, who is John Carver. That's the villain, the man behind the mask, and yeah, the way he is methodical and plans everything out to kill somebody, it doesn't work in the parade scene. And I thought that was weird, and I don't think it should be in there because it just didn't suit the character, in my opinion. I thought it was too bold of a move of someone who's been strategically taking out each individual person. And so that's like a kind of one of the scenes that actually, that's a negative to me. So, but we'll go into that maybe a little bit more when I get into more positives and negatives. So this movie, like I said, is directed by Eli Roth, who did Hostel. This movie was made for $15 million, which is great. All that budget definitely went into the special effects in this film. I'd like to point out that this film was filmed in my hometown. It was literally down the street and my old college. Yeah, so like I said, $15 million. It made $42 million bucks back worldwide, which is pretty good. So that means it made its budget back. The marketing probably got paid back. The theaters made some money off of it, and the distributions made its money too. Not a lot of money, which I am surprised that it didn't make more. And I'm surprised because, like, I've seen a lot of horror movies this year. Exorcist Believer, The Pope's Exorcist, what else? Five Nights at Freddy's, like stuff like that. And all of those almost made like, well, some made more, but close to $100 million, right? And I was kind of surprised, like this movie didn't get close to $100 million. And it was kind of surprising. Like I really am surprised by it. And I don't know if that's because it's an R-rated movie. Maybe that was the gateway, but at the same time, I'm like, where is everybody who loves this franchise and who's wanted to see this movie since the Grindhouse days, right? 2007 Grindhouse, when those trailers were introduced, right? We all loved it. And I'm just like, where was everybody who came, like, what happened? Maybe it's 16 years too late and people have just moved on from that grindhouse thrill, like that genre, because the grindhouse phase only lasted for so long, right? So I'm kind of just like, maybe people moved on and they forgot about it and didn't want to come back to the theater to see this. Or also maybe bad timing for maybe me, because I'm in Canada. Our Thanksgiving is in October. So maybe that was also just on the Canadian side of things. We didn't want to go see a Thanksgiving movie in late November or whatever, because that's not our Thanksgiving. So it makes me think about it a little bit. But I think this movie should have made way more money, especially for all the horror fans that are out there. And I'm kind of surprised they didn't go and support this film. So that being said, I really enjoyed this movie. I'll keep saying that. I enjoyed it a lot. And I'm not going to go too far into details of the story because I want you guys to enjoy this film, as it is a whodunit. And I'm just going to talk about the positives and the negatives and explain the story a little bit. And that's it, okay? So there should be no spoilers, but I will post a spoiler warning just in case, because sometimes I do go out on a limb and spoil stuff. So I just want you guys to be warned. So first of all, like I said, this film is filmed in my town, but it's actually supposed to be taking place in Plymouth, Massachusetts. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm under the weather, and I don't think I can pronounce it anyways correctly. So it takes place there, and it's on Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And we have a whole bunch of characters introduced at the beginning of this movie. Probably the first 20 minutes of this movie is dedicated to introducing everybody that is going to be a player in this film. And we have like the Collins family, the sheriff, the kids, like the teenagers, all of them, the workers at the Right Mart, the owner of the Right Mart. Who else is in there? Like, there's just so many people. Oh, and the people who live in Plymouth that are at the Thanksgiving Black Friday at Right Mart. So all these things happen, and this scene is actually an awesome scene. It's a positive plus. Give it a plus. This is probably the best scene in the entire movie, in my opinion. Actually, there's another good scene in this movie too. So this scene is all about that Black Friday, like the horrors of Black Friday that we all know about, where people would stampede to get goods and services from Target and Walmart and stuff like that. But here we have it happening at Right Mart. And I have to say, Eli really, really built up the tension here. I was really tense. Like, it's a tense feeling, and the way it's cut and edited, you're getting on the edge of your seats. Like the tension is bubbling of these people wanting to just ram into the store, and you're waiting for it too. Like us, the audience, want to see this chaos happen. It's so nicely done. And what happens is the students, led by Jessica, she is the actress for Jessica is Nell Verlaque. I believe that's how her name is pronounced. And she happens to be the daughter of the CEO of Right Mart, and that's Thomas Wright, and that's played by Rick Hoffman. And so she's allowed into the store to get her boyfriend, I believe it's Bobby, who's played by Jalen Brooks. He wants new headphones or something, or it's a new cell phone. His phone broke. So they got into the store before everybody else. And when they're in the store, they're bragging and taunting the mob that's outside. And those people getting taunted are having enough of it, where they literally break the barricades down and start jamming into the doors of the Right Mart. And it's so intense. And eventually the guy at the front unlocks the door, and the door gets taken off its hinges and squishes him, and he dies. He's getting trampled. Someone gets their throat slit. There's blood gushing everywhere. No one's helping anyone. It's complete chaos. It's such beautiful chaos. And it's just so barbaric and savage, right? It's a great scene. And in this scene, we see the death of Amanda Collins, played by Gina Gershon, right? And she gets trampled. I believe it's I think she gets pushed over, and then her head gets rammed over by a grocery cart. Yeah. And she's dead, right? And she only showed up to give her husband, Mitch, who works there, leftovers from Thanksgiving, like just to give him a meal, you know what I'm saying? And so the sheriff, Eric Newland, sees her dead on the floor, and he draws his gun and shoots in the sky to stop everybody. Like, that's enough, you know? And it cuts there. That's the end. So then we fast forward 1 year later after the events. It's Thanksgiving again, and it's Black Friday again. And now we're going through, this is where the whodunit starts, right? Because like the first, like I said, sets everything up perfectly. And now everyone's going to die from that point on. When that sheriff shoots the gun in the sky, from that point on, everyone starts dying, and it's great. So the other positive scene in this movie that I really liked, and I don't want to ruin it, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, is there's 2 deaths in this scene that are awesome. And one of them is in the trailer where you see the woman getting cooked in the oven. It's in the trailer. I'm not spoiling anything if you saw the trailer. That scene is awesome, very tense. Very tense. And there's another scene where one of the students gets killed by a table saw, and it's disgusting, but in a good way. Like, it's so well done where you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. And her guts just spill everywhere. It's so gross. But those are like my two favorite scenes, like 3 favorite scenes, 2 of my favorite deaths. And yeah, the movie itself is very, like I said, entertaining. I don't know what else to say about this movie other than it's very entertaining. And you are sitting there the whole time going, who's the killer? And some of you might know who the killer is right away. Like my friend, he got it right away. I didn't get it until like the end. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And like Eli gives it away. Like he's like, there's a scene in this movie where he holds on to this image. And he's like, it's like, pay attention to this, because I'm going to pay it off later. But yeah, so those are all like my favorite things. Here now, we'll just get into the negatives. And like I said, I really like the concept of using the Black Friday, like that whole mob, like just all that to set up the world. I just really liked it. I thought it was smart, I have another positive. I thought about this. I actually liked how they set up the driving force of the hero / killer of how are we going to solve this before we die? Because they use technology kind of cool, not like cool, but cool, where it's like the killer sends a text message out to them, or it's like an Instagram so everyone can see it, I think, and he tags them in it, and it's like the Thanksgiving table with all the trimmings and all the plates, and I think there's a head on one of them because I think he killed someone before he sends that text message out, and so like they all their names are on the plates, and it's like, you're next, you're invited to dinner or something like that. And so now they're all afraid that they're going to be next, like their head's going to be added to the table, and that causes them to kind of be like, we got to solve this before this and that happens. And I really liked it. They use technology in this relatively smart, to be honest with you, because there's a couple things where I don't want to say it, but they use it in a way that pushes the story forward and reveals the ending and all that stuff too. So they use cell phone technology in this movie nicely, and it's just nice to see just the use of modern day technology in a whodunit kind of horror movie. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. That's a positive. Now on to the negatives. The first negative I would like to say is I do not care about a single person in this movie. I don't care about any of them. For some reason, to me, they all come across as dickheads. Like, they seem very entitled, like snobby, pompous, rich, nerd. Like, I don't like them. They're not nerds. They're just like this group of people that, why would I ever root for them, And even the blue collar people, I don't really care for them. Everyone in this movie comes across as really standoffish and dickheadish. And our final girl, like, we're supposed to cheer for her, but I don't care. I kind of want her to die. And I don't know why that is. That's just how I felt with every single person in this movie. I was rooting for John Carver to kill everyone, even her. So that's a negative to me, because I think I want to have a hero that I believe in, that makes me feel like, yeah, this is a good person. I want her to survive. I want her to solve the problems, But we didn't get any of that. And I don't know, maybe you guys think, maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how I felt with these characters. I didn't like any of them. Another thing I didn't like in this movie is the parade scene. Now, I mentioned it earlier about cutting 9 minutes out of this film because of this scene. Our character, John Carver, shows up at the parade dressed as a clown, and he's throwing like military grade smoke grenades on the ground, and he lops a kid's head off, who's in the Thanksgiving turkey costume. Just chops his head right off in front of tons of people. And I was just like, what is this? It didn't make any sense to me. I felt like it was just kind of, like I said, out of character. And I didn't like the scene. I just thought it was so dumb. And he's like in a clown costume. I don't know. I didn't like it. I think it didn't need to be in the film because it didn't suit the character of John Carver. And I didn't like that. And another thing that I didn't like, and you guys can judge me on this one. Maybe I'm being nitpicky, but the lack of grindhouse elements in this film, I kind of wish they added it in there. And I mean film grain, I mean all that grittiness, the distortions, the like just everything that comes from the trailer and from the grindhouse universe that this movie comes from, it's not in this film. And it's too clean, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of wish they had the grindhouse elements from the grindhouse era of where this film is supposed to come from. And I don't know why they didn't do it, but to me, it's the mist. It's just missed, and I wish it was in there. And hopefully, maybe on the DVD, Blu-ray, whenever they release it, they release like a grindhouse cut with all the film grain and smoke holes and like weird vignettes. Oh man, I wish they put vignettes in this. That would be so cool. But whatever. I guess they wanted it to be cleaner so it could be for the modern audience. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, don't look back there at the grindhouse origin of this film. Don't look at that. It's clean. It's a modern tale. But yeah, so that's just me. I don't know if anyone else felt like that should have been in there, but that to me is a negative. And that's really it for negatives. I don't have much to hate about this film. Yeah, and I just like the whole movie itself is a good experience. I look forward to the sequel, which has been announced. So that'll be 2025. So I know this review comes a little too late, so this movie probably isn't in the theater anymore. But I do hope you give it a chance when it hits streaming or digital download or whatever you can get it, and physical media. I personally think you should give this movie a chance. Just give it a chance. Maybe not watch it now because it's Christmas time, but watch it next Thanksgiving, kind of get yourself in the mood for it. But I do think you should really give this film a good chance. I think you will enjoy it. I personally will be owning this film in my collection. Day one purchase. I can't wait to get it in there. I still have to find Machete and Planet Terror to finish my Grindhouse collection back there. And yeah, so that's it for the review. I have nothing else to say about this movie. It was great, man. I had a great time. I look forward to watching it again. Like, I probably won't watch it, to be perfectly honest, a year from now, like when it's Canadian Thanksgiving. I will definitely watch this movie again, and I look forward to watching it again. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of my review. The next movie I'm going to talk about will be Napoleon. I hope you guys like this shorter review. Yeah, I got to go to sleep. I just want to rest my voice. You guys have a good day. Whatever movie you guys are watching, I hope you're digging them and loving them. Peace out, everyone. Talk to you tomorrow.